Hello everyone. How's everybody today? Welcome to the Dirt Road Farmer. I'm sure glad to see you here. As you know, the field that we just done in the last video, we plowed some sugar beets in. The field was full of weeds and it was 50% fertilized, and I thought it would be a lot better used as fertilizer than it would be a crop. And we found out when we jumped out of the tractor that we actually had 100% fertilizer. So, with that being said, and we do not have to apply fertilizer, and with this particular planter being a direct drill, which means it will cultivate it, I'm wondering if we'll even have to run a cultivator over it, or just let this plow do it, or this planter do it. It makes sense to me, but what we're going to do is we'll run a small test like we've done several times, and we'll find out what that's going to give us. I don't know at this point, so we'll be learning together. So let's just get up here and let's just run a small test. I think we're going to plant soybeans here also. So let's just run a. I tell you what, before we do, let's make sure we know what we're talking about. Now see, it doesn't need anything, and it's 100% fertilized. So, okay. Now let's run a small test. We'll turn our planter on. We'll lower it. All right. All right, we're going to just, I think that's enough to tell what we're going to be doing. So lift it up, shut the planter off, and we'll jump out. All right, this will save a lot of money and time if we don't need to run a cultivator through it. All right, now you see what that's going to do to us, 95%. All right, and that's a yield bonus. Now, do you know why we're at 95 instead of 98? Because we're not running a cultivator through it. Well, a field this size, I think we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to run the cultivator through it, because 3% of a field this size will add up to quite a bit of money. So, that's not a problem. I think what we'll do is we'll park this planter over here on the side, and we'll get our cultivators in here and get this field cultivated. So I'll see you whenever I get some cultivators over here. All right, we've got 3 cultivators going in the field right now. And yes, they're doing a good job. The middle cultivator and the last cultivator over here, we just want to make sure that they turn the right way. You know, as I've said several times, as long as you keep them turning away from one another, you'll never have a problem. So that's what we're doing. So these cultivators, they pull a little slower than the plows do. Of course, they take a little bigger bite too. But it'll take them a little while to get this field done. But I do believe that this is our best move. Because a field this size, now this is probably, I'm going to estimate about 300 acres. It may be a little less than that, but that would be my estimate, about 300 acres. So, yes, the yield on this field at 100% fertilized, it'll add up to several $1,000s. So we definitely need to take this step and get it done. I know the tractor or the planter is doing the same job before it puts the seed in the ground, but that's not how we have to play the game. So anyway, we're going to let these cultivators run for a while, and I'll get back with you in a moment. All right, our guys are doing a very good job. I ran a little test over here in the corner. I've got 3 planters in place, ready to go whenever I think we're far enough ahead with the cultivators. But anyway, I ran a little test to see if cultivating was going to bring it up. And after cultivating and then running the planter, we're still at a yield bonus of 95%, which is where we were at before we started cultivating. So I don't know if they're going to make us roll this field. 5% is a pretty hard hit on a field this size. So with that being said, you know, I'm willing to take a 2% hit, like we talked about before, and not roll the field. But a 5% hit, that's kind of hard to swallow there, because that's going to amount to quite a bit of grain, which is going to amount to quite a bit of money. So it looks as though that's what they're going to make us do. And I don't know if it's because we plowed the crop that was here, whether we plowed it in. I don't know if that's why it's doing it, or whether that's just normal. There's still a whole bunch, excuse me, about FS22 that we don't know. So we'll just play it by ear and we'll learn. So we'll just continue here until we get a little farther ahead. Well, I called a farmer friend of mine and talked to him about this, he said, well, did you mulch those sugar beets before you plowed? And I said, no, sir, we did not. We just plowed them in. He said, well, that's where you went wrong. That's where you lost your 3% at, right there. So, note to self, anytime that we are going to have to plow a crop, you know, there's 4 crops that you have to plow after you harvest. And that is potatoes, sugar beets, corn, and sugar cane. Now, if you do not plow after those 4 crops are harvested, you will take a hit on your next crop. Your yield will suffer. So, and I knew this, but what threw me off was the mulching. So, we'll remember that for sure. If we're going to have to plow a crop in, then just make sure that we go through and mulch it first and then plow it in. And that way, that'll give us our 3%. And then we agreed to take the 2% dock for not rolling. So, with that being said, on this field, we're going to go ahead and this time only, we're going to take a 5% dock on this field. We'll still end up with 95% yield bonus. But this one time only, and boy, I hate to do it because that's a lot of money that we're going to lose there. But I do not want to buy the rollers and the equipment because those are very expensive, and we're probably not going to make that mistake again where we have to roll a field. We don't want to get into that. It's not cost effective. The friend of mine that I talked to, he said if you do roll the field, that's only going to bring that 95% up to 97% because rolling only gives you 2%. So we're just going to take the whole 5% on this, and more or less what you might say, you just lick your wounds and go on. School ain't cheap, but we know now, and we'll do it in the future, guaranteed. All right, well, these guys are getting right on across here. I'm holding off a little bit on our planters because they are wider than what the cultivator is, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they run about 2 miles an hour faster. So we'll just hold off for a little while, and then we'll get them started. All right, I've noticed that these John Deeres, they don't quite have enough horsepower to pull these, and they're struggling a little bit, is what they're doing. So we're going to try these case quad tracks out and see if they do any better. We don't want to wear our tractors out, and this case has, I think almost 100 more horsepower So with that being said, they'll be able to handle the load. All right, so let's see how they get along with it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they're doing a little better job. All right, well, we'll jump out of here and we'll switch these John Deeres out. We're not going to sell them because they're a good tractor. But what we will do is for pulling these cultivators, that's just a little bit, well, we're right up there maxing these John Deeres out. So we'll keep these for spreading lime and fertilizer and, you know, a lot of other stuff. So anyway, I'm going to get these switched out and I'll get back with you. All right. Yeah, the RPMs, they come down a little bit on these case, and they're pulling them a steady 9 miles an hour. And with the Tracs, they're not slipping. The tires aren't slipping. So yes, everything is going a whole lot better now. Those John Deeres, they do a fantastic job. The 8Rs, they do a fantastic job. But when it comes to something like this, they do have the power to do it, but they don't have the weight and the traction. So these guys are, this case is just walking off with this cultivator, and yeah, it's doing a great job. It's getting about time for us to fire our planters off. I don't think they'll catch the cultivators now. So I'll get that 8R back to the farm, and then we'll come back and we'll fire our planters off and get them running. All right. Well, we've got all 3 of our planters fired off. And this last planter, whenever I fired it off, I forgot to set the seed to soybeans, and we started planting wheat, which is, no, that's not what we wanted. So I had to stop him and go back, and one good thing about it is this planter cultivates. So it's cultivating the wheat out of it, and it's putting soybeans in place of it. So we run about a half a field up here, a half a row, and before I caught it. So that's why we're getting a different texture back there in back of the planter, and that's just on this one. So with that being said, we've got 6 pieces of equipment operating in this field. We've got 3 case quad tracks pulling our cultivators, and we've got 3 of these 9Rs John Deeres pulling our seeders. So yeah, we're getting her done. So we're going to get out of here. We're going to let them just continue on. What I do need to do is I need to watch this guy and make sure that he makes the right turn up here. And because we've got to have them turning away from each other. So anyway, I will watch him and I'll get back with you in a few minutes. All right. Excuse me. I hope we didn't start our planters off too early, because yeah, they're getting right along. I mean, they're covering some field now, and like I had said earlier, they are a little bit wider than the cultivators, plus they're moving 2 miles an hour faster. So I mean, it's not really a big deal. We can always just stop them if we need to. But yeah, they're just not wasting any time. These guys are, yeah, I think what they're wanting is they're wanting an early lunch, is what I think. So, but anyway, those Case quad tracks over there, they are walking right off with that cultivator, and it won't be long and we'll have this field done. So yeah, we'll just keep an eye on them. If we need to stop these planters, we will. But I don't know if we will or not. We'll just keep an eye on them. We don't want them running into one another or anything like that. So, all right. Well, we'll get back with you in a few minutes. All right. I tell you what, these planters are flat getting across this field. And it's going to be close. I don't know. I may have to stop them. But that's okay. And give the cultivators a chance to catch up. So I may have to, but I won't until I just absolutely have to. So the object is to get the field done as quickly as possible. And you know, by having 6 tractors running in this field, that's about as fast as you're going to get anything done in this size of a field. Of course, now if it was bigger, you could have more equipment in it. However, one drawback: these are AI workers, and I don't know for sure, and I may be talking out of turn, but in FS19, I think you could only have 6 AI workers working at the same time. I don't know if it's the same way with FS22 or not. I haven't tried. But having 6 of these guys out here in the field is quite a bit to keep up with, let me tell you. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and we'll keep an eye on them. We've got one of our Case tractors over there on the other end of the field that is just about done cultivating, so we'll keep an eye on him and we'll get him out of the way as soon as we can. All right, we've got our cultivators out of the field. They are done. and we did have to stop our planters, so they're a little bit behind, but not too awful far. And they'll have this knocked out pretty quick. Tomorrow, I think, we're probably going to harvest. I think that's wheat over there. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's wheat. And I think we'll probably harvest that and start getting that field ready for replant. It ain't going to be too awful long, and we're going to have, I think it's 2 fields of corn, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think there's 2 fields of corn that's going to have to be harvested and replanted. So, oh yeah, there'll not be any idle time on this map. None. We're going to always have something to do. And I mean a big job. Every day we'll have something big to do. So, if you've liked this content, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like. I'd sure appreciate it. If you'd like to follow me, if you like the big farming, go down there and hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything at all. You'll just get a notification letting you know that I've posted new content. As you know, I try to post every day. I know I do have some people that like to watch the videos, and they watch every one that I post because they like the farming. So, like I said, if you want to get a notification every time that I post new content, just go down there and hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to share this video with someone that you think would enjoy it, please do. Please do. I am always wanting to help. Never do I ever say this is the absolute way to do something. This is the correct way and every other way is wrong. Never will you hear me say that, because this is just merely my way. Do I know everything about this? Absolutely not. So I hope that maybe something that I have done will help you in your farming, you know, in your game. If so, that's fantastic, because I'm always here to try to help someone. So anyway, I think we'll call this a video. And as far as the Dirt Road Farmer, I think we'll see you tomorrow. And as always, thank you for watching.